Thank you for participating in today's Civitas interview with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
And our first question, why do you think your district chose you to represent them in the General Assembly?
It's a difficult question only because I ran unopposed in the general election, but of course I did have an opponent in the primary. But I think that by and large people looked at me and said that I represented them. I was like them, I had attitudes like them, and that they felt that they could trust me to make decisions like they would make decisions.
And our second question, the state is facing a $3.2 billion budget shortfall in the coming fiscal year. How did we get here, and how would you go about balancing the budget? Would you raise taxes, reduce government spending, a combination of the two, or something else?
How did we get here? Well, we didn't get here overnight, like all things. We're not going to get out of it overnight, like all things. We got here because we got in bad habits. Life was easy, living was good, revenues were high, everyone had jobs, spend, 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 that's what we do. That's not foresight, but it's reality. Now we've got to reverse course. Sadly, we've got to reverse it quickly. So how would I go about that? A couple of things come to mind. One is we reduce the cost of doing government. What do I mean by that? From what I understand, the governor, the Speaker of the House, and the President Pro Tem of the Senate appoint some 600 boards and commissions. Sorry, we got to cut that way down. And I don't mean by half, I mean by probably 70%. Secondly, we've got to reorient how we spend money, not just on what we spend money. Both have to be reoriented. We need I think, from the bottom up revamp of the budgetary process. Budgetary process, as I understand it, and remember, I've not been here before, so to a certain extent it's seat of the pants, but as I understand it, the budgetary process is each state department says, this is what I need, this is what I spent last year, these are programs we have. We need to look at what we have to do, not what would we like to do, and then move first on those things that we have to do. If there's money left over, great, we can do the things we'd like to do.
And our next question, how important is a voter ID requirement in ensuring the integrity of elections?
To say it's very important is to minimize it. It is incredibly important. It destroys the integrity of the election. We've all heard that vote early and vote often routine. I know from firsthand experience, quite frankly. Let me rephrase that firsthand. I know of these great stories about people showing up with the obituaries from the last 2 weeks. What's your name? Fine, here you are, go vote. In order to maintain the integrity of the process, we need to have a verified identification both at registration and on the day of the vote.
And our next question, what three primary issues do you intend to address in your upcoming term?
The simple answer is jobs, jobs, and jobs. Jobs solve a great number of issues. They stabilize the family. They give hope for the future. They produce revenues for the family, the locality, the state. Everybody wins when people are employed. So that has to be the first, by a long shot, the first objective of good government. Make sure we have full employment. Make sure that we're using our money wisely, and that make sure that we're responsive, not just responsible. And I think those three approaches to good government, is what allows for good government.
And our final question, what is the one most important thing you hope people will remember you accomplishing during your first term?
That's also particularly difficult because there's so many things to accomplish. I have liked to say that if there is one thing I could get done, in my term, whatever length of time it is here in Raleigh, I'd limit the session to 90 days. I put the committee meetings on the road. Get here, get to work, and go back home so that you can be in touch with your constituents, the people you see up and down the street, in the grocery store and at the gas station. Get to work and then go home. And secondly, putting the 90-day limit and putting committee meetings on the road, more people would be involved in government. It would become more inclusive. We'd have more people running for office. We'd get better candidates because people could take 90 days away from their business or their career and dedicate it to public service, but to take 6 months or 8 months, some are saying 10 months, that's inherently impossible. If there's one thing I could accomplish, that would be it.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.